thanks a lot for joining us today to our webinar where we're going to look into how to help your customers boost their business growth with conversion analysis. So let me start with a short introduction. My name is Thomas. I work here at Similarweb, and my role is a strategic consultant and industry consultant for agencies and consultancies. So my main job is to show how you can use market intelligence better to provide better information and help your customers make better decisions online. So I work with a lot of big agencies and consultancies around the world and work on specific projects or analyzing bigger industries in general. So let me maybe start as well with introducing Similarweb in case someone of you haven't heard of it before or you're just joining the first webinar Similarweb. And what Similarweb does, it provides decision makers with complete view of the fast changing digital world. So you can set the digital strategy and grow your business. And it was never more important than now with COVID, as everything is changing so fast. So relying on all strategies and all digital tactics is very difficult, as you don't know how the industry is behaving and everything is lagging behind if you don't have data that is live, that is very recent. So what Simula provides in terms of scale is 100 million websites, almost 5 million apps, comparable company and market data. We also have data for more than 190 countries worldwide. Also, one of my favorite things is that we provide a lot of live data that is updated daily. So you can actually look at some parts of our platform and know what happened just a couple of days ago. Then we have also actionable tools and custom reports provided to our clients. So let's now focus on what we're going to talk about today, because today is a bit specific. We're not going to talk about the overall digital performance of a category. We're going to look at a category, but we're going to look at conversion specific data. We'll look at sales for those websites. So first of all, we're going to start at understanding how to optimize online conversions by learning from the best in-class websites. So look at the overall category and then understand who are the best performers, who maybe are the laggers behind, and what we can do to improve and how much potential return investment we can get on those improvements, which is, I think, is very important for agencies, because you have to build a case and be able to prove that case with data to get additional budget. And then we'll look at analyzing leading retailers, or we're actually going to look at marketing channels and try and find the best marketing channels for a category, and also understand the trends in marketing channels and which marketing channels are the best suited for a certain period in time. And then we're going to move into analyzing leading retailers or marketplace. And we'll look into product categories. So when you work with a lot of brands, you know that lots of sales are happening not on your own website, but actually on retailers and marketplaces. So, and the data is very scarce on that side. So making decisions and building strategy is very difficult. This is why we have data for leading retailers on how their categories are performing, and even you can look deeper into categories. And one of the things you can go deeper in is on-site search to uncover and adapt to shifts in consumer demand, understand brand demand on specific retailer, and compare it to competition as well. So let's start with understanding what we're going to look at today. So we're going to start with fast fashion industry, and we're going to analyze the top performers for the US. So we're going to look at US market in fast fashion category. But fast fashion is only an example category. So it's not only thing you can analyze in our platform, but it's actually one of many categories and many websites that you can find in conversion analysis part of our platform. So let's start with the first part of the presentation, and it's how to optimize online conversions by learning from the best-in-class websites. So what I love to do for any industry I really work in is, first of all, start with understanding the trend in the industry. So not only knowing what are the best websites or how much they're growing, how much your competition is growing, but looking at the overall category and how much the category aggregated overall is growing. So here, what you can see on the left and right is data for conversions. So total conversions for a fast fashion category in last 6 months compared to the same period a year ago. And then it gives us an ability to analyze how much it grew period over period. And this is very important to not compare 6 months to 6 months before because of seasonality, especially in e-commerce and retail categories. So we can see that overall category grew 11% in total conversions. So this is not traffic to total websites in the category, it's conversions in the category. And then on the left side, we can see conversions in different periods in the same period or period comparison and for specific websites. And they actually ranked by the fastest growing ones. So we can see that J.Crew increased its conversions by 99% period over period. So last 6 months to 6 months last year. And then we see the largest and best performer overall in total conversions is being American Eagle. And this is very important to actually have those two views when you analyzing performance of a client. Because when you're going to a client and you're trying to see if they're doing well or not doing well, one of the things you want to do is look at how you are competing with the closest competition in terms of sale and conversions. But then you want to see your growth and compare to the overall industry. Because if you're growing, let's say 20%, but the category is growing 30%, you actually are not performing as well as you thought. But if the overall category is declining, you can go to a client and tell it, we actually only declined by 5%, while the whole category is dropped by 30%. So it justifies your investment into online activity and shows actual performance because you have a context. And without context, it's very difficult to understand what is bad, what is good, and what is average. And here again, we can see a couple of things. So American Eagle is the top performer in total conversions and is growing by 12%, which is more than average category, which is very good for already the largest player in the industry. We see Forever 21 declining significantly by 55%. So there is some kind of problem that we might want to look into further, understanding where the problem is potentially. And then we have J.Crew, which is the fastest growing website in terms of conversions. So we already have some kind of benchmarks, understanding where we maybe want to look at for top marketing channels, who is performing well, who is the leader in the industry, and then understanding who we should copy and who we should look into improve as well. So now to the next website. Now to the next slide, we can actually see the overall picture of an industry in one graph. So this is something we provide that you can actually visualize the performance a lot better. So here we look at two scales. So first of all is conversion rate, is the efficiency of the website. And on the right side are the best converting websites. And we can see here, the leader in total conversions is also the leader in the efficiency of the website. So we see American Eagle, one of the big parts why it's performing so well in converted visits is because it's best performing in conversion rate. And then we also see the lowest performer ones. And as we've seen with Forever 21, who is performing so poorly and declining so much in the last 6 months compared to last year, it's one of the lowest performers in conversion rate as well. And it's very, very far from the average. And here we can see average of 5%. And then we see convert visits in terms of scale. So again, we can look at who are the biggest ones in terms of conversions during that period. And again, we have American Eagle, Gap, and J. Crew leading the way. And we also can already see that J. Crew's growth led it to the third place now, when it wasn't even close to the third place in a category before. And just to reiterate, we're looking at converted visits and conversion rate. So it's sales on a site. So every sale is one conversion. And this is something that we can understand really well for Forever 21. So the scale might not be the issue, but conversion rate is something that we can definitely improve. So if your client is Forever 21, you should try and look into what you can improve for it. So then for the next slide, I would like to look at Forever 21 and potential improvement on a total sales and revenue if we would be able to achieve that, even the average conversion rate. So we can see here, if we look at most of the websites and average conversion rate for the category, Forever 21 is very low with just 3.4% of conversion rate. And what we can do, we can look at our overall transactional volume, and we can look at group average conversion rate and figure out how big of a difference is between 3.4% and 5% of conversion rate, and then multiplied by average order value, which is taken from a specific study on e-commerce. And this average order value is for fashion e-commerce sites. So it's $96.7. And now with this formula, we can understand how much additional revenue Forever 21 can get by just getting to the average group average conversion rate. So then if Forever 21 is your client and you want to understand what the problem is, maybe you're sending a lot of traffic there and you're working on the media strategy and marketing strategy, but it's not performing that well, and you see the decline, you can tell that the issue is not in the media activity, but it's actually in converting those customers. And then one of the things you can suggest is that rebuilding the website, understanding the user flow in the website, and you can show the potential return investment on just reaching or getting closer to the average conversion rate. And with 32 million additional revenue in just 6 months, there's definitely potential budget to be spared to actually improve that conversion rate. And then this action of going to a client and suggesting a strategy and tactic of improving this KPI becomes very easy to sell. So one of the other things you can look into in conversion analysis is actually stickiness. So how many times a month people buy on a certain site. So this can be one of the issues, is that customers are not coming back enough to buy on your website. And here we see the leader, who is Zara, and we can compare it to the average. And Zara, by making customers come back more often and buy more things in a month, actually getting additional 7.6 million in revenue in the last 6 months. So again, if you are one of the lower performing ones and you want to get to the average level, or you're trying to understand if this is the big issue, then you can again quantify the potential return investment on improving the stickiness on your site. So doing marketing campaigns, doing more remarketing, pushing through emails, and understanding if that is the issue, or should you go more getting new customers and new people to your site. So then one of the very powerful things on a platform is actually looking at converted visits over time. So one of the things we can look at here. So in general, you can switch between total visits, converted visits, conversion rate, and stickiness over time, and understand where the problems or drops are. And then if you look at converted visits, it's very easy to see where the most sales are done during the year for this category. And this seasonality will be different for categories, but for e-commerce, as we know, shopping season and holiday season is the most important, as a lot big proportion of the total revenue of the year is actually generated in 2 months. And a lot of it is even to Black Friday and Cyber Monday in many cases for the e-commerce category. So we can see here that there is a huge increase in November and December in total conversions, so in total sales for all the websites. And we can see who is winning is actually American Eagle. And it's not only in scale, but it's also in the increase during that time. So they're doing a great job in not just performing well in terms of scale and selling and converting over time, but also using holidays to increase their sales the most. So we already seen that American Eagle is really good at converting on their sites. They're also really good in total conversions and increasing their revenue during the most important seasons of the year. And then we can also look at other ones who are being flat during that time. So if we find Forever 21 here, we can see quite a good increase here. So it's performing quite well during November, December. But then if we look at website like Zara, it's very flat during the holiday season. So there's definitely an opportunity for you to increase sales and conversion during November and December. And then when you understand that this is one of the problems that you have compared to other websites, you can also look at marketing channels during that period and see where you're lagging. So which are the marketing channels improving the most and are the most important during that time? And this is something we're going to do now. So now we're going to look at marketing channels for the leaders and for the industry that are the most important during this period of time. So what I've done here is actually looked at aggregated average conversions for different channels and compared October to November in 2019 to understand where the growth in a category in November comes from the most. So which channels are responsible the most for the growth in November. So this gives you an understanding of first how much budget you should allocate for holiday season and how you should distribute it across the channel. So which channels are the most important during that time? And we can see here that display ads have been increasing significantly. So we see 97% growth in total conversions going just from display ads. And we see increased conversion from display ads, but it's also a big part of it that display ads are used for branding, and it's also signaling that it's very important for it. And then we have paid search. So paid search has grown 130%. So of course, it's one of the biggest channels in general, and it's very important during time as well. So we have a question from our Q&A. Where does paid social fall in this chart? So paid social, as in paid display ads from social, comes to here. So if you're doing display advertisement on Facebook, you can actually see it here. And then, so this is only during November and October, but you can do it for any time period, or you can do it for the whole year and understand which are the most important channel for the category in general, and understand if you're underperforming in some of them or the distribution is wrong. So it's very easy to find gaps in your media buying strategy and understanding what you're lacking. So since we understood that display ads and paid search are very important during this time, you can actually go and look how display ads are used over the last 2 years. And we can see here that American Eagle is using display ads a lot more than any other fast fashion brand. And you can see how much more during November. So this is the peak, and this is where this channel is used the most for pretty much everyone, really. And the growth is extremely significant. So we're already seeing that American Eagle is performing the best in terms of total conversion during this period, we can also see that display ads is a big part of the strategy during this time. So if you're one of the lower performing ones, or you're not actually using display ads, this is an opportunity for you to understand that it's one of the best ones for you to improve on, to put more budget in, especially during this time. So then we can also see how much the percentage is increased. So you can better understand how much budget you want to allocate for it and the importance for that time period. And I think from the strategy standpoint, it is amazing to look at this data to understand which channels are the most important, where the growth comes during the year, and see specific best performance for a specific channel. So then you can look into that channel. But the part that a lot of people missing is taking that one more step further, because we're just looking at understanding that American Eagle is using display ads to drive a lot of conversions during this time is not enough. Because even though you can get more budget, you want to look at, you can really easily understand also tactics, understand where they're using that display ad budget. So this is what I also want to show you. And I think a lot of companies and a lot of our clients actually stopping at the strategy level and then don't know how to bridge the gap between the strategy and then moving into tactics really well. And it's very simple to do. So when you see that display ads is a crucial marketing channel, you see that American Eagle is top performer in the industry, is top performing during that time, you can so easily go on our platform, put November as the month for analysis, put American Eagle in the US, and you'll see top publishers that they're using during that time period. So you can see Slick Deals, Rakuten, and other coupon websites as the most important ones for that period, and also understand the growth. And this is comparing October to November. And it's so obvious that Slick Deals and Rakuten is top strategy for them, as they combine already for 30% of traffic. So every third display ad click is coming from these two websites. Then we see how much growth it is during that time. So they definitely just focusing on those two during November to drive the traffic. So it's very easy to replicate because these two websites account for 30% of traffic. And then we don't only give you the ability to see which websites and publishers they're using, but also top ad networks. So you can actually filter for the websites and see which ad networks they're using. So you can actually go to ad networks or use those ad networks to very easily understand and just make your strategy and tactical plan very, very simple. And then you can even see display ads and display ads used during that period. So which ones, which campaigns, what are the landing pages for those? So then you don't need to do extensive research, try to find them in some other way, but it's all there. And it's basically 2 clicks. You can see this on one page, see this on the same page, and then just click to display ads during that time. And you have all your tactical and strategic information, basically with 2 clicks from the previous part in conversion analysis. And then you can go to your client and show them, okay, we actually not getting this number of conversions for display ads. This is the gap we have. This is potential increase we can have of return on investment if we add more budget. And then you can look into which publishers to use. So you can estimate the traffic that even American Eagle is getting from those channels. You have ad networks to put it all together into action, and you have display ad examples that already working well for American Eagle and use those as potential examples, or even look at maybe top 5 competition and collect them together and have ideas for brainstorming really, really fast. And making that plan for your client becomes very easy and extremely actionable. So the next part, what we're going to look at is that we've seen that American Eagle is performing really well in terms of scale, in terms of growth, in terms of conversion rate. So what we're going to look at is leading marketing channels for American Eagle, because it's a great example of what works well and what maybe you should consider of doing more. And here in this graph, you can see for November 2019, you can look at every channel, see conversion rate and convert visits for that channel. And we can see social as the lowest performing one. We see display ads and paid search at the same level in terms of conversion rate. See direct as the top performing one in conversions, as this direct visits to the website. And then we see referrals, which is mostly affiliate. So affiliate deals with different websites. So then they get percentage of the share of the sale for them. And this channel is usually highly converting because people trust reviews and people trust other publishers driving traffic or comparison sites driving traffic to your website. So from here, it's very simple. You can look at your channels to understand where you're underperforming in which channels. You can see what are the top ones that you might want to increase spending in, and you can understand where you're underperforming. Is it the scale that you're missing, or is it the conversion rate that you're underperforming in? And then again, you can do the same thing we did with display ads. Is not only looking at the strategy from this level, we can go more tactical. We can actually now show, okay, referrals is one of the top channels to focus on, as the top performer in this industry is doing really, really well with this channel. Let's do what they're doing. Let's see what they're doing. So I looked at top referral sites for American Eagle in the last 6 months. And we see who, what, where was actually every third click came from one website, who, what, where, which reviews who wears different fashion clothes from celebrities, and then adds actual links to the websites. So it's a very good partnership because it's people who do care about fashion. They come there to find new fashion ideas, and it's reviewed, and you already have celebrities wearing those clothes. So it's a very good selling point for everyone, because if Kim Kardashian or Kendall Jenner is wearing it, maybe you should probably buy it because they're definitely really fashionable. So you can look at who, what, where, look at the top website, go on Google. You can also use Google search specifically to find the page that they usually use affiliate networks for. So if you use site double column who, what, where.com and then add ae.com site URL, you can find the pages that they advertise in. And then you can click on one of these links and you'll be able to see the redirect. So if you look at the redirect, you can find affiliate network that they're using, and then the landing page that it goes to. So it becomes extremely simple to make this. It's you go, you find the top website, you go on it, you find the affiliate network, and then you have your landing page. So then if you want to do the same, you contact the affiliate network or this website to make a partnership. And it's very actionable, and again, really, really fast. The only thing you need to do, you need to understand the referrals is probably one of the challenges you're under-investing in. And then you have one click away, ae.com and Similarweb.com, and you go to referrals, incoming traffic, and you'll see the list of top referrals for them. And then just pick the most valuable ones to your industry, and you have the action plan right there. And again, if we're talking about return on investment as the main part of this, is that you can actually understand how many converted visits you're losing by not working with them, because you have the conversion rate for affiliates, for referrals, for your competition, and you have the total volume of conversions and conversion rate, and you can even look at total visits on our platform as well. So we're finishing the part on marketing channels. And I think one of the most important things that I want to emphasize for that part is that you can build an amazing marketing strategy for your client with data, and you can prove that strategy with return investment, with real data, showing potential increase in the KPI, in the revenue from a certain strategy proposed. And then take that to the next level and show a very actionable plan and give amazing examples that makes it so easy to understand and so easy to follow up afterwards. So the next part we're going to look into is understanding the leading retailers' product categories and just understanding retailers and marketplaces in general. As I said before, retailers and marketplaces are like a big secret to most of us because we don't know what is happening on there. And when I work with clients, one of the questions they ask the most, if it's a brand, if it's a fashion retailer, is what is going on the retailer side? Which categories are growing? How is my brand performing compared to everything else? Because even if you have your sales data, you don't have anything on other competition or in terms of categories which are performing well. So it's very difficult to have a strategic plan, to have some actionable insights. You're looking at a very small proportion of the data and you don't have the context of overall categories. This is why we build this tool where you can look at marketplaces and retailers and look at specific categories to then better understand and benchmark your performance for those categories, and also find out which ones you should invest in and show your clients that this is the growing category. This is how much we should convert. This is how much this one is growing. And this is where you should put your budget and allocate your strategy for this retailer or this marketplace. So as an example, we looked at UK this time, not the US, and looked at different categories of Amazon.co.uk. So this is conversions for women leggings, women's sportswear, men's nightwear, women's socks and tights, so different categories of fashion or clothing. And what I've done is compared last 6 months to 6 months last year. So again, we're doing the same comparison period over period, and we're looking at the increase. So because one of the things you want to tell a client is focusing on growing categories, as categories change quite quickly and demand changes quite quickly right now. So one of the things we've seen so much now in fashion and fast fashion and just in retail is, of course, sportswear, leggings, and athleisure in general. And this is something that we can already see here in Amazon.co.uk. Is women's leggings and sportswear are two fastest growing categories. So then if you're working with a brand that is producing this kind of clothing, you want to show that on Amazon, these categories are growing really fast. So then the demand is growing, the potential consumer base is growing. So one thing is you should enter those categories more aggressively. You can increase the budget because you see 130% increase in total conversions. You can definitely increase your budget significantly. You cannot use the same budget from the last year because you have so much more demand over there and so much more opportunity. And then you can understand and benchmark your growth in that category. So if you are selling in that category and your growth was 30 or 40% over this time, that means you're significantly underperforming. That means you have 4 times more sales to potentially have in that category using your market share from the last year. So it gives you such good insights on category level performance. And you can use it in many ways. Is to increase your budget, increase your ad spend, perform additional analysis of what is underperforming. Maybe it's pages, product pages performance. Maybe there's some new competition that you're not looking into. And there's so many things to understand when you see the actual trends for categories. And then we have the lowest performing categories. There's something maybe you don't want to invest in. And this is probably is quite obvious here because women's dresses and swimwear is something that people don't buy as much right now because of the COVID. And this is one of the examples where you need latest data, is that swimwear is not as important because people don't go on holidays as much. Dresses, people don't dress up as much. So there's such an interesting story here. So dresses are decreasing and leggings and sportswear is increasing. So you basically can justify and understand how much budget you can take from one category and redistribute back to the other category, because you can measure the demand, you can measure the impact on potential category as well. So this is why I love this view. And you've seen that I use this chart in many places because it gives you two most important dimensions, is the scale and then also the improvement of the category. And I'm actually the same way. I bought a really nice jacket just before COVID, and now I'm wearing it during webinars because that's one of the places I can actually use. So thank you for giving me this opportunity. But it's exactly what we already know on some levels, but we need data to understand how important this trend is and how big this trend is in the industry. Then as a next part, we can also look at categories in the same map. So remember when I showed you the different websites and how they perform as like in terms of conversion rate efficiency and converted visits in terms of scale. And then you've seen that one website was the best converting one and one was the biggest one maybe. So here we can do the same exact thing for categories. We can look at the largest one. So men sportswear related category is the largest one. And then we see tops, t-shirts, and shirts is the second largest one, because this is convert visit scales. So higher up it is, more conversions there were during this time. And the time frame is here, still last 6 months. So we want to look at maybe something, I don't want to go more than 6 months because it gives you recent enough data to actually calculate impact of COVID significantly. And then we see the best converting categories as well. So when you're looking at which categories to maybe enter first or focus on paid search a lot. So because on Amazon, paid part and paid attribution is so important, as it's not only increasing your sales in the short term, but it also increases your performance in the category organically as well, which is very different from Google shopping. So you know this category is performing really well in conversion rate, so you can spend more per click because it's also performing really good in conversion rate. Another thing what conversion rate gives you is knowing how you're performing. Because if you're looking at dresses related category and you're selling there and you see that your conversion rate is very low, you don't know if it's because it's lower than sportswear in general, or is because your product on in dresses category is underperforming. And this gives you an amazing insight into what potential solutions you have and what are best investments of your time, and you can justify it to your client. And you can show them why you're focusing on a certain category. You can show them why you're focusing on certain budget and and justifying every single tactical and strategic decision you have. So the last part we're going to look at is leveraging on-site search to uncover and adapt shifts in consumer demand. So we're already seeing that we can look at categories in different marketplaces and retailers, but it gives us the overall category performance. What we want to look at is even deeper. So what people are searching for. So on-site search gives us what people are searching for and potentially converting for those keywords as well. So I can show you a couple of examples to make it a bit more easy to understand. And on Amazon UK on-site search, I looked at the same period. So we're comparing the same period, 6 months before compared to last year, the same months. And we're looking at shorts related data. So when people are looking for shorts on Amazon, what kind of types of shorts they look the most? And this is already a very fascinating quick insight that boxer shorts are the top performing type of shorts. So we can see the most converted visits and probably the top visits amongst different types, because these are just generic shorts, so we don't really know what they mean. And we have boxer shorts as the top one. We have gym shorts as the fastest growing type of shorts in the UK, at total of 9,000 conversions in the last 6 months. And we can see it growing. You can see growing total visits, we see growing in total conversions, and a tiny bit growing in conversion rate, which doesn't seem significant at all. But you can understand different subcategories of shorts. And this gives you a couple of things. So one of the important things on Amazon is, of course, Amazon SEO. So if you're selling shorts or types of shorts, you want to optimize for the most search keywords, very similar how you do for Google. The second of all is your paid strategy. So you can use this to understand which keywords are have the highest conversion rate, and then use them more to use a paid strategy in Amazon.co.uk. And then additionally, it's giving you industry trends. So you know what kind of shorts and what kind of type of products are performing better over time. And you can compare almost any period, last 3 months. So maybe you want to look what kind of shopping gifts they're looking at in November. Maybe they're looking at something for December as gifts. So you can go to last November or October and look at gift keywords and what kind of gifts people usually look for. And then use those to sell gifts or packages. So it gives you amazing insights on the category on a very deep level to even keywords and conversions for keywords. Then another important use case is, of course, brand monitoring, because that's something that is very difficult to do from agency side, is looking into brand performance for a certain retailer. And here we can see Nike keywords and compare them to Adidas keywords. So again, we're looking at 6 months compared to 6 months last year. And it's very simple to see that visits for Nike, so demand for Nike products on Amazon is growing. So we can see them increasing, and conversions are also growing with visits. And then we see Adidas demand actually declining. And it's actually a very poor performance, because the problem is that menswear in general and sportswear is growing, but we see Adidas as one of the top brands is for some reason in decline. So we want to look into what is the problem. Maybe there are other brands overtaking you. Maybe it's the conversion rate. So then you look at the categories of specifically these products and you look at conversion rate. Is that the problem? So, or you're not doing maybe enough paid advertisement, or you're not optimizing for proper keywords as well. But there are a lot of things that you can understand from actually looking at brand performance on retailers and marketplaces. So I think one of the main things I want to focus on for the last part is that retailers' information is something that most brands, and especially fashion brands or any kind of CPG brands, don't have, and they're very lacking in their strategy overall. So it's very important and it's very useful in building your own strategy. So if you can show them this data, they're extremely thankful all the time, because it's something that is very difficult to get and is perceived as extremely valuable. And then build on that strategy, going from the top level, from the category level, trend level, and then going to specific product types to understand where the best opportunity is and understand return investment. So now we have a couple more minutes and we can go through Q&A. I've already answered most of the questions. Let me see. I think there are no more questions on the Q&A. So I'll just thank you guys. It was amazing, and thanks all for joining. Please send us any comments you have and contact your account managers if you want more information. And this recording will be sent to you afterwards. So please watch it if you have some more questions, and we'll send a presentation as well along with the webinar. Thank you, guys. Thanks a lot.